Chapter 6. Flight of Destiny. Captain Hart stood at the helm of his elite crew, a band of seasoned men ready to take on the skies. Alongside him, his trusted co-pilot and brother-in-law, Ricky Lane, brought both camaraderie and skill to the cockpit. Assisting them was their flight engineer, a master of mechanics, ensuring their aircraft, the now designated YRB-49, was primed for action. But the team didn't stop there. They were joined by a Special Operations Weather Technician, SOWT, tasked with overseeing reconnaissance equipment crucial for their missions. Together, they transformed their aircraft into a flying fortress, not only armed with cameras but also equipped with multiple radar detection systems, courtesy of the top-secret Ferret program. As they prepared to embark on their next mission, adrenaline coursed through their veins. Each member of the crew was a vital cog in the machine, ready to face whatever challenges the skies might throw their way. With determination in their hearts and unwavering camaraderie, Captain Hart and his crew were poised to rewrite the rules of aerial reconnaissance. But it was the addition of the Special Operations Weather Technician Officer, a master of reconnaissance equipment, that truly set them apart. This wasn't just any aircraft they were preparing, it was the pinnacle of innovation, now designated as the YRB-49. Decked out not only with cutting-edge cameras but also boasting a suite of multiple radar detection systems, courtesy of the Ferret program. As they readied their aircraft, a palpable tension filled the air, a silent acknowledgement of the dangers that lay ahead. But for Captain Hart and his crew, this was not merely a mission, it was a chance to rewrite the course of the war, to outmaneuver the enemy with stealth and precision. With engines roaring and determination coursing through their veins, they embarked on their daring sortie, each member of the crew knowing that the fate of nations hung in the balance. As Captain Hart strides into the briefing room, the tension crackles in the air, thick with anticipation. General Hawk, a seasoned leader with a steely gaze, stands at the head of the table, his presence commanding respect. The mission briefing is about to begin, and every word carries the weight of the impending danger. "Welcome, Captain Hart," General Hawk booms, his voice echoing off the walls. "Glad you could join us. We've got a mission that's as daring as they come." With a dramatic sweep of his hand, General Hawk unveils a map spread out on the table, illuminated by the soft glow of the briefing room lights. The map depicts Vozrozdenia Island in the Aral Sea, a shadowy outpost in the heart of enemy territory. "Our objective," General Hawk declares, his voice filled with determination, "is to fly over Vozrozdenia Island and sniff out any Soviet radar installations. But that's not all. There's been some strange activity reported on the island." He leans in, eyes gleaming with intensity. "We need photographic evidence of a top-secret Soviet biolab hidden on that island. And we need it under the cover of darkness." The room buzzes with excitement and apprehension as Captain Hart absorbs the gravity of the mission. "But wait, there's more," General Hawk continues, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "We are also tasked with gathering radar data from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. We need to know every detail of the Soviet space program. And again, we'll need photographs." Captain Hart's heart pounds in his chest as he realizes the enormity of the mission ahead. Failure is not an option. "But what if things go south?" Captain Hart asks, his voice steady despite the rising adrenaline. General Hawk fixes him with a solemn gaze. "If you're shot down, you'll activate the YRB-49 self-destruct mechanism before bailing out. We can't let our equipment fall into Soviet hands." With the mission objectives clear and the stakes higher than ever, Captain Hart nods, ready to embark on this perilous journey into the heart of the unknown. After the mission, General Hawk concludes, his voice ringing with authority, "You'll return triumphant to our base in Izmir, Turkey. But first, we've got a job to do. Let's make history, gentlemen." With a resounding chorus of determination, the team rises from their seats, ready to face whatever challenges await them in the darkened skies over enemy territory. The mission awaits, and Captain Hart is ready to soar. As Captain Hart and his crew settle into the cockpit of the YRB-49, the late afternoon sun casts a golden glow over the tarmac of the NATO airbase at Izmir, Turkey. The aircraft, sleek and menacing in its design, waits patiently as the crew meticulously goes through the pre-flight checklist. Inside the cockpit, Captain Hart sits in the pilot's seat, his hands resting confidently on the controls. Beside him, Ricky Lane, his trusted co-pilot, scans the instruments with a practiced eye. The hum of activity fills the air as they coordinate with Buck Stern, the Special Operations Weather Technician Officer, who sits in the back, ensuring that every piece of reconnaissance equipment is functioning flawlessly. "Engines primed and ready, Captain," Ricky announces, his voice steady despite the anticipation coursing through his veins. "Copy that," Captain Hart replies, his voice calm but determined. "Navigation systems check."
Hydraulic pressure.
As they run through the checklist, Buck Stern monitors the weather conditions, his keen eyes scanning the horizon for any signs of trouble. His expertise in meteorology will be crucial for navigating through the merging edge of twilight, where visibility can be challenging and enemy detection becomes more difficult. "Weather looks clear for now," Buck reports, his voice crackling over the intercom. "But we'll need to keep an eye out for any unexpected changes." With everything in order, Captain Hart gives the signal to start the engines. The roar of the turbines fills the cockpit as the YRB-49 comes to life, ready to take flight into the unknown. As the sun dips lower on the horizon, casting long shadows across the runway, the crew prepares to embark on their daring mission. "Clear for takeoff," the tower's voice crackles over the radio, giving them the green light to depart. With a steady hand on the throttle, Captain Hart guides the YRB-49 down the runway, the aircraft gathering speed as it hurtles towards the edge of twilight. As they lift off into the sky, leaving the safety of the airbase behind, a sense of exhilaration washes over the crew. They are bound for destiny, ready to face whatever challenges the darkness may hold. As the YRB-49 ascends into the heavens, the atmosphere inside the cockpit crackles with anticipation. Captain Hart and Lieutenant Lane exchange a glance, their eyes reflecting the glow of the rising full moon in the eastern sky. It's a sight that fills them with both awe and a sense of foreboding, knowing that they are venturing into the unknown under the watchful gaze of Luna herself. With the moon casting its ethereal light upon them, Captain Hart and Lieutenant Lane set their navigational instruments, their hands moving with practiced precision. Each flick of a switch, each adjustment of a dial, brings them one step closer to their first waypoint in the Caspian Sea. Their course will take them through the interior of Turkey, a land steeped in history and mystery, before they reach the vast expanse of the Caspian Sea. But as they set their sights on their destination, a sense of unease settles over the crew. The darkness of the night seems to press in around them, cloaking their aircraft in shadows. In the distance, the twinkling lights of civilization fade away, leaving them alone in the vast expanse of the sky. "We are entering Turkish airspace," Lieutenant Lane announces, his voice cutting through the silence. "Maintaining course for the Caspian Sea." Captain Hart nods, his jaw set with determination. He knows that their journey is fraught with danger, but he also knows that they must press on. The fate of nations hangs in the balance, and they are the only ones who can uncover the truth hidden in the shadows. As they fly deeper into the night, the moonlight dances across the surface of the sea below, casting eerie shadows upon the waves. The YRB-49 cuts through the darkness like a silent predator, its sleek form blending seamlessly into the night sky. But despite the beauty of the moonlit landscape, Captain Hart and his crew remain vigilant, their senses alert for any sign of danger. They know that they are flying into the heart of enemy territory, where every shadow could conceal a threat. As they cross into the Caspian Sea, the tension in the cockpit reaches a fever pitch. Every second feels like an eternity as they scan the horizon for any signs of enemy activity. But for now, all they can do is press on, their fate hanging in the balance as they journey deeper into the unknown. As Captain Hart and his crew approach waypoint A, tension grips the cockpit like a vice. The anticipation of what lies ahead sends adrenaline coursing through their veins, their senses heightened to the slightest anomaly in the night sky. "Waypoint dead ahead," Ricky announces, his voice cutting through the quiet hum of the aircraft. Captain Hart's grip tightens on the controls as he gives the command to set course for waypoint B, south of Vozrozhdenia Island. The YRB-49 responds with precision, its engines humming with controlled power as they navigate through the darkness. But as they veer towards their new heading, a sudden blip appears on the radar screen, startling the crew into action. "Unknown contact, 12 o'clock. Buck's voice crackles over the intercom, urgency dripping from every word. Captain Hart's heart pounds in his chest as he scans the instruments, his mind racing through the possibilities. Is it a Soviet interceptor? Or perhaps a rogue weather balloon? "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," he commands, his voice steady despite the rising threat. With practiced coordination, Lieutenant Lane adjusts their altitude while Buck toggles the radar systems, attempting to identify the unknown contact. The tension in the cockpit is palpable as they wait for the radar to give them answers. But just as quickly as it appeared, the blip vanishes from the screen, leaving the crew in a state of high alert. False alarm, Buck reports, relief evident in his voice. No sign of the contact. Captain Hart exhales slowly, his shoulders sagging with the release of tension. For now, they've dodged a bullet, but the encounter serves as a stark reminder of the dangers lurking in the darkness. Stay sharp, everyone, he warns, his voice cutting through the silence. We are not out of the woods yet. With renewed focus, the crew presses on towards Waypoint B, their determination unwavering despite the threat that looms ahead. The fate of their mission, and perhaps the fate of the world, hangs in the balance as they navigate through the treacherous skies over enemy territory. As Ricky's announcement echoes through the cockpit, signaling their arrival at Waypoint B and the southern end of Vozrozhdenia Island, Captain Hart's senses sharpen and a knot tightens in his stomach. This is the moment they've been preparing for, the crucial phase of their mission. He turns to Buck, his voice firm but tense. Buck, any radar signals from the northern end of the island? Captain Hart asks, his eyes fixed on the navigation console. Buck furrows his brow, his fingers flying over the controls as he scans for any signs of enemy activity. After a tense moment, he responds, his voice laced with concern. Radar signal detected on the northern end of the island, Captain, Buck reports, his tone serious. But there's no reaction to our presence in their airspace. Captain Hart's jaw tightens at the news. It's a troubling development, indicating that their approach may not have gone unnoticed. But before he can ponder further, another anomaly catches their attention. Captain, there's something odd happening on AM 800 KHZ, Buck interrupts, his voice tinged with confusion. Captain Hart turns to him, his brow furrowed with concern. What's going on, Buck? Buck adjusts the radio frequency, and a crackling voice fills the cockpit, speaking in Russian. But it's not just any transmission, it's a haunting melody punctuated by a repetitive phrase, climb to the top. The words hang in the air, sending a shiver down Captain Hart's spine. Repeat that, Buck, Captain Hart orders, his voice betraying his unease. Buck obliges, and once again, the eerie broadcast fills the cockpit, the words echoing ominously through the airwaves. Climb to the top, Buck translates, his voice barely above a whisper. It's the same message, over and over. A chill settles over the crew as they listen to the cryptic transmission, the weight of its meaning sinking in. What could it signify? Is it a warning? A trap? The uncertainty gnaws at Captain Hart's nerves, but he knows they can't afford to dwell on it. Keep monitoring that frequency, Buck, Captain Hart instructs, his voice steely with determination. And keep an eye on that radar. We press on. With a silent nod, the crew refocuses their efforts, pushing aside their mounting apprehension as they continue their reconnaissance mission over the shadowy expanse of Vozrozhdenia Island. But the unsettling transmission lingers in the back of their minds, a lingering reminder of the perilous journey they've embarked upon. As Captain Hart processes Buck's report of the strange radar signal and the eerie radio broadcast, another unsettling revelation emerges. Buck's voice crackles over the intercom, a note of urgency in his tone. Captain, there appears to be a cluster of streetlights about 15 degrees off our present course, Buck announces, his words punctuated by a hint of unease. I suggest we investigate further. Captain Hart's brow furrows as he considers Buck's suggestion. Streetlights on an uninhabited island. It doesn't make sense. But then again, nothing about this mission has been ordinary so far. Take us closer, but maintain a safe distance, Captain Hart instructs, his voice firm but tinged with caution. I want to know what we are dealing with. With a steady hand, Lieutenant Lane adjusts their heading, guiding the YRB-49 towards the cluster of lights looming on the horizon. As they draw nearer, the eerie glow casts long shadows across the desolate landscape of Vozrozhdenia Island, heightening the sense of foreboding that hangs over the cockpit. What do you see, Buck? Captain Hart prompts, his eyes fixed on the camera scope as they approach the mysterious lights. As the YRB-49 edges closer to the cluster of lights on Vozrozhdenia Island, a tense silence descends upon the cockpit. Captain Hart's gaze remains fixed on the approaching spectacle, a knot of apprehension tightening in his gut with each passing second. Beside him, Lieutenant Lane maintains their course, his hands steady on the controls as they navigate through the darkness. But it's Buck's reaction that sends a chill down Captain Hart's spine. The Special Operations weather technician's normally composed demeanor cracks, his face draining of color as he stares intently at the scene unfolding below. "Captain," Buck's voice trembles slightly, "we need to get a closer look at those lights. I think I see something." Captain Hart's pulse quickens at Buck's words, his mind racing with possibilities. What could be lurking amidst those eerie lights? His instincts scream at him to turn back, to flee from whatever darkness awaits below. But duty compels him forward, driving him to uncover the truth hidden in the shadows. "Take us in closer, Lieutenant," Captain Hart orders, his voice steady despite the rising tide of fear. "But be cautious. We don't know what we are dealing with." With a nod, Lieutenant Lane adjusts their heading once more, bringing the YRB-49 within sight of the mysterious lights. As they draw nearer, the scene below comes into sharper focus, revealing a chilling sight that sends shivers down their spines. Buck's voice trembles over the intercom, his words laden with disbelief. "Captain, it's a mock-up town. And there are figures hanging from the power poles. Lifelike figures, but they are not moving." Captain Hart's blood runs cold at Buck's revelation, his mind struggling to comprehend the horror unfolding before them. Who could have constructed such a macabre tableau? And what sinister purpose does it serve?